Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Hi folks, this is Andre Boyer, Serpico News, right in your face. Folks, this is an update on the off-duty police shooting, fatal police shooting that occurred on January the 28th on a Monday, where this off-duty police officer observed a male in a vehicle hitting and running over a pedestrian. This is the update. We now know the off-duty detective's name that works in the crime scene, the major crime unit. His name is Officer Powell. Officer Powell shot this suspect not once, but 10 times, folks. The last fatal shot was in the head. Yes, Officer Powell did observe a horrific crime, and he did take action. But, once again, did that action have to cause him to take a life? That is the question, folks. This is the third Philadelphia police shooting where a male has been shot with no weapon. There's a lot of questions about this shooting. A lot of questions. Stay tuned for more from Serpico News.
And Aaron, I can tell you, Police Commissioner Richard Ross just made two things perfectly clear when we spoke to him a few minutes ago. Number one, this was a violent attack on his off-duty officer this morning. And number two, he says he does have concern about the discharge of this weapon. Not so much the number of shots fired, but the totality of the incident. When a reckless driver struck a pedestrian at Broad and Bigler Streets this morning, Commissioner Ross says it was intentional. What unfolded next was all caught on residential video, and police are right now reviewing those surveillance images along with witness interviews that tell the story of a Good Samaritan who was charged after blocking that suspect's car. That's when an off-duty officer who identified himself, telling the suspect to drop to the pavement, was attacked by that man. Commissioner Ross says it was a department-issued weapon, and the suspect, it appears, was attempting to disarm the off-duty officer.
Certainly, that is a possibility. I mean, he charged the detective immediately upon the detective approaching him. There's a violent struggle that you can see where, I mean, they're spinning each other around and round, and at some point in time, there are multiple discharges, and there are a couple of which leave us with some concern.
All we heard was pop, 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 a lot of shots. And people running and scurrying around. It was really scary. There's even a baby seat in the car, so that's scary too.
Now, that suspect, we do know, had a Virginia ID as well as a Maryland tag on the black Honda, but police say they don't know exactly why he was here in Philadelphia. They also say there is no evidence, at least right now, that this was domestic terrorism related or that this suspect was intentionally trying to run over or hurt anyone else. We do know that the Good Samaritan has been treated and released from the hospital at this point, and the off-duty officer, it is standard operating procedure, he has been placed on administrative leave. We're live at police headquarters tonight. I'm Sydney Long, NBC 10 News.
Andre Boyer added 6 photos and a video. February 1st at 1:43 p.m. Corruption in Philly. Serpico News right in your face. Philly detective James Powell fires 9 shots, then one last shot to the unarmed male's head. Hero or execution? This is the third Philadelphia police shooting by police where a suspect had no weapon and fatally killed with one shot to the head. Should there be alarms going off? Yes, the public should be very concerned in light of these pattern shooting not even 4 months apart. Another unarmed suspect has been shot in the head. On Monday, January 29th, approximately 7:30 a.m., the suspect, who is believed to be a Muslim male, sources within the Philly PD state male may or may not have some ties to ISIS. That's still under investigation by the FBI. Suspect was driving a black Honda Civic south on Broad Street when he made a left turn onto Bigler Street and struck a man. No one is saying if this was an accident or done intentionally. From police sources, the suspect continued driving east on Bigler, but then made a U-turn and drove back to the intersection. From police sources, that's when a Good Samaritan used his truck to block his path of the suspect. The driver of the truck got out and apparently tried to tell the alleged Muslim male suspect that he had hit someone. Apparently the male did not realize he had hit someone. The suspect allegedly got out of the Honda and began to chase the Good Samaritan. As the suspect began to walk back to the Honda, the off-duty detective who works in major crimes, Detective Powell, stated he had witnessed some of incident and exited his vehicle and confronted the suspect. Detective Powell identified himself as police and ordered the suspect to the ground, and that's when things went horribly wrong. The suspect charged Detective Powell immediately after being ordered to comply with his commands. There was a fight between the suspects and Detective Powell, throwing punches back and forth with each other several times. Sources say Detective Powell was losing the fight with the suspect, at which point the detective reached for his off-duty weapon and Detective Powell fired his weapon 9 times, then once clear from the male where he posed no longer a threat, Detective Powell then fired one last time, striking the suspect in the head, fatally killing the suspect at the scene. Yes, folk, unarmed male involved in what appears to be an accident or possible road rage. Shot 10 times. Does this incident not sound like the last police shooting? Yes, it does. No weapon, but yet the suspect is fatally shot and involve internet in the head. Captain Kenneth earlier said in a statement to the media the officer fired at least 10 shots and that the suspect was hit once in the face. The suspect was hit multiple times. Captain Kenneth, just like in the last police shooting, can never get the story right. But one thing is for certain, this is a pattern by the Philadelphia Police Department, shooting unarmed suspect in the head. Police say the Honda had Maryland plates and investigators were awaiting toxicology results or other evidence to explain the suspect's erratic and bizarre behavior, but was Detective Powell blood also tested to see if he had anything in his system? After all, he did discharge his firearm 10 times into an unarmed suspect for what appeared to be a traffic accident. But this is the same thing the Philadelphia Police Department did at the fatal auto accident where 2 off-duty Philadelphia police officers were drag racing and killed a man, and the department only did a toxicology test on the guy that died at the scene and not on the 2 off-duty cops until weeks after, and found that one of the cops tested positive for steroids. This clear was an accident. The 40-year-old man who was hit while exiting the parked car was treated at Penn Presbyterian for minor injuries. That right, folks, minor injuries. Detective Powell with the Major Crime Unit was also treated and released from the hospital for injuries to his head and left shoulder. He will be assigned to administrative duties while the shooting is investigated by Internal Affairs. There are no witness confirming Police Commissioner Ross' statement or police had that the suspect had tried to run down other pedestrians, and no evidence of that was found. This is the 3rd police unarmed shooting in Philadelphia. I'm not saying the detective was wrong for taking police action. But what I am saying is, did Detective Powell have to shoot the suspect 9 times, then after the threat is over you take a head shoot? I'm not sure why the FBI is involved in this accident, but from my inside sources within the Philadelphia Police Department, this guy may have some ties to ISIS, but the FBI has not made that statement. Do I believe this guy could have been on their watch list? Yes, but once again the real question is, why did it take Detective James Powell 9+1 to the head to end what was nothing more than an auto accident?
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, you know, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.